Last week, two former UK Prime Ministers waded into the debate about the Brexit. Mrs. Tony Blair and John Major warned that leaving the European Union will jeopardise the unity of the United Kingdom by undermining peace in Northern Ireland and bolstering the Scottish independence movement. They, of course, tend towards current Prime Minister David Cameron's views on the issue.
Indeed, the British Prime Minister has no desire for the UK to leave the European Union. But as with major decisions, it is not up to him to decide. On Tuesday last week, he accused those campaigning for Britain to exit the EU of lying. In front of an audience on television, he pressed his criticism of those campaigning to leave, accusing the anti-EU campaigner, Nigel Farage, who is also leader of the UK Independence Party, of wanting to damage Britain's economy. He said Britain had managed to make the EU work for it, and leaving would endanger jobs and the economy.
And here's what really happens if we leave. Of course, we'd still want to sell into that single market, so we'd still have to meet all the rules and the regulations that Brussels lays down, but we won't be at the table. We'll be like a country with our ear and our face pressed up against the glass, trying to find out what's happening with the other 27 countries, making rules that affect our country. And I would say that is no way for the fifth biggest country, biggest economy in the world to behave. We need to be in this organisation, fighting for British interests and for British jobs. Leaving is quitting. And I don't think we're quitters.
The Prime Minister has the wisdom of his predecessors to back up his views. Tony Blair and John Major both warned last week that a vote to leave the EU could pull Britain apart.
If the UK was outside the European Union, I can well envisage a different result in that referendum. So that's the risk, that a British exit from the European Union could reopen the whole question and tear apart the United Kingdom. A United Kingdom outside the European Union.
If you then retain the common travel area, then it means someone from any part of Europe can come to the south and then come to the north. And then there are no, obviously, border checks within the UK.
Both of them said the referendum could undermine the 1998 Northern Ireland peace deal that ended 3 decades of tit-for-tat killings between Catholic Irish nationalists who wanted the province to unite with Ireland and their Protestant rivals who wanted to keep it British. Over 3,600 people died in the conflict.
That it would be an historic mistake to do anything that has any risk of destabilising the complicated and multi-layered constitutional settlement that underpins the present stability in Northern Ireland. But that is what a British exit from the European Union would do.
Here we stand as two former Prime Ministers, and we say to the Leave campaign very directly, you have fundamental questions to answer about Northern Ireland, about the common travel area, about the effect of leaving the EU on the future makeup of the United Kingdom.
As for Britain's neighbour, Germany, a Brexit could lead to other countries quitting the European Union as well. Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier said last month that a Europe without Britain will not continue as normal.
Dass wenn Großbritannien sich für den Brexit entscheidet.
With all due caution, I'd like to say that the notion of a continuation in Europe with just 28-1 after a UK Brexit is not very realistic, but I think that in that case, we will have reached a point where the European process of integration has come to a standstill. As for Britons themselves, opinions are divided whether to stay or leave.
Fortunately, I won't be voting. I find it quite pointless, to be honest with you. I don't feel that they take our votes into consideration. When it comes to the government, they do sort of do what they want to do, regardless of the votes. I'm sure that they just swap it around however they want the situation to pan out, to be honest. So no, unfortunately, I won't be voting.
I know what's going to happen for young people. They have young boys. For them would be better to stay because they will get easier job, freedom of movement, free market. So all these things will make me vote staying.
According to recent polls, those supporting Britain leaving the EU slightly outnumber those who want to remain in the EU, while over 10% of eligible voters are still undecided. Those who have registered will be casting their ballots on June 23rd.
That's the program this week. If you have thoughts and comments you'd like to share with us, then send them to @diplomaticchan, @CTV_Amara_UBANI, or facebook.com/diplomatic channel. I am Amarachi Ubani. I'll see you next time on Diplomatic Channel.